Publishers are absolutely terrified preserved video games will be used for recreational purposes, so the U.S. Copyright Office has struck down a major effort for game preservation. I've gone over this many times, guys. The real reason that the ESA, that game companies are against video game preservation, and they've outright admitted this, they don't want to compete with their old games because that was the excuse they gave. Like, well, but you discontinued this game anyway. You don't even sell this game. There's no legal way to buy it, or it's a live service that got shut down. Well, why are you so against us still being able to play it for free? It's not like we're taking money away from you. You don't even sell it anymore. You don't make it available anymore. And they pretty much admitted, like, yeah, well, we don't want to have to compete with all of our old titles. There you go. They're literally admitting that their older games are better than their newer games. Like, could you imagine if book publishers did this shit too? Oh, yeah, we need to pull all books older than 30 years off the shelves because our new authors can't compete with the old authors. Do you think that would fly? So this fails the needs of citizens in favor of a weak sauce argument from the industry, and it's really disappointing. No, all this does is it vindicates the pirates. It vindicates the Seven Seas. Yeah, at this point, emulators, pirates, like, they're all justified now. Like, well, if they're going to remove all legal avenues we have to preserve these games, well, yo ho, a pirate's life for me. So a 3-year fight to help support game preservation has come to a sad end today. The U.S. Copyright Office has denied a request for a DMCA exemption that would allow libraries to remotely share digital access to preserved video games. This is like the same level of bullshit for, like, what was this? Like, was it GeForce Now? NVIDIA had a service where all it did was it plugged into your existing game library, like, say, your Steam library, and let you stream your existing Steam library to whatever device you wanted. So you would, like, say you have Elden Ring and you want to play Elden Ring from your phone for whatever reason, like while you're traveling, you could stream it using that service from a VM that they set up that accesses your library. And all the publishers flipped their shit. Like, oh, we didn't authorize anyone to play the game in this way. The fact that they're even allowed to do that is sickening. Like, no, if I already bought the game, you don't get to fucking control how I play it. Now, for the past 3 years, the Video Game History Foundation has been supporting with the Software Preservation Network on a petition to allow libraries and archives to remotely share digital access to out-of-print video games in their collections. So VGHF explains in a statement, under the current anti-circumvention rules of Section 1201 of the DMCA, libraries and archives are unable to break copy protection on games in order to make them remotely accessible to researchers. That's why we got the 7 Cs. If you prevent this from being accessible legally, it's no longer even a morally gray area to use other means to get it. So essentially, this exemption would open up the possibility of a digital library where historians and researchers could check out digital games that run through emulators. The VGHF argues that around 87% of all the video games released in the U.S. before 2010 are now out of print, and the only legal way to access those games now is through the occasional exorbitant prices and often failing hardware that defines the retro game market. And that's why gamers are increasingly no longer caring about the legal methods. If these companies keep quashing the legal methods, we're just going to go for slightly less legal methods. Still, the U.S. Copyright Office has said no. Yeah, that's because the mafia paid them a lot of money. The Register concludes that the proponents did not show how removing a single user limitation of preserved computer programs or permitting off-premises access to video games are likely to be non-infringing. Well, according to the final ruling, she also notes that the greater risk of market harm with removing video game exemptions premises limitation given the market for legacy video games. Oh, so you let me get this straight. The excuse they're using is they wanted to protect the scalpers. So the scalpers and the speculators, that rocket up the price of classic games to like 30, 40 times what they should be. They're the ones you're protecting with this? Okay. It's totally not the industry that doesn't want to compete with their old content. Nope. That's why Nintendo never have Oracle of Ages and Seasons ported. Yeah, I still have those on my Game Boy Color. But hey, if you want to play, if you don't have the physical copies on Game Boy Color and you want to play those games, you're gonna have to resort to the 7 Cs. And I don't fault anyone who does it. If these companies make that the only way that you're able to access their good old content, then they don't get to bitch when everyone is just enjoying their old content on the 7 Cs and they're not making money off of it. Because you know that they get fucking furious and they view these are the morons that view every download as a lost sale. So then they see everyone downloading all of their old games, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of downloads, and they view that as like lost sales. Like, how could it be a lost sale if you refuse to make this available in current year regardless? Those 100,000 people that downloaded the 7Cs version, it's not like you gave them a legal option. It's not like you lost a sale. You could have had that sale if you gave them a legal option, but you're here fighting them. All right, that ruling cites the belief that the Entertainment Software Association and other industry lobbying groups that there would be a significant risk that preserved video games would be used for recreational purposes. Oh, God forbid people actually play the video games. That we cannot, of course, entertain the notion that researchers enjoy their subjects for even a moment. More importantly, this also ignores the fact that a game that libraries already lend out digital versions of more traditional media like books and movies, or to everyday people for what can only be described as recreational purposes. Very good point. Members of the VGHF are naturally unhappy with the decision. Unfortunately, lobbying efforts by the rights holders groups continue to hold back progress. Well, instead of fighting these fruitless legal battles, why don't you start funding the 7Cs? Yeah, that'll work. The group said in a statement, noting the ESA's absolutist position that would not support a similar sort of copyright reform under any circumstances. So I'm proud of the work we and other orgs we partnered with did to try and change the copyright law. VGF founder and director Frank Cifaldi said on Twitter. So we really gave it our all. I can't see what else we could have done. This fails the need for citizens in favor of weak sauce argument from the industry, and it's really disappointing. Well, time to start educating the citizens on emulators and where to get ROMs and where to go when like Nintendo keeps striking them down.